Every year we have to take a test to get certification to be a high school basketball official. Today we're going to take a look at test questions that may or may not be on the test that you have to take, but it'll give us some insight in how to take test questions and succeed. So let's get started today. Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Basketball Rules Expert, the show where we take National Federation of High School basketball rules, we lift them off the printed page, breathe life into them, simplify, clarify, amplify, so you can take them with you onto the basketball court. Greetings again, everybody. My name is Greg Austin with abetterofficial.com. I've been a high school basketball official here in the San Francisco Bay Area for over a decade. I consider myself to be a basketball rules expert. This show is all about helping you on a journey to becoming a basketball rules expert as well. If you'll give me a moment and allow me to thank our fantastic show supporters, Sue Mahackian, Bart Henkle, Thomas Anticola, Mark Skolnick, and Bill Damico. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show, you can always buy us a coffee at abetterofficial.com/coffee. I'll put a link in the show notes below. All right. So today we are recognizing that it is the time of year where we are taking a test. We're doing review questions and all of the things. Today we're just going to open up some test questions and move forward with those and see what we can get from them. Okay. All right. Like I say, it's crazy town here. I have set these up. Let's see if I have set us up for success. That's how we're going to do it. And then we're going to take a look at our first question. A player technical foul is charged to which of the following? The player and an indirect to the head coach. B, the player. C, the head coach. And then I go here. All right. Okay, so we have a player technical. Now, first of all, a critical thing that we have to understand as basketball officials when we assess the delightful technical foul is that it's not just a technical foul. It is a player technical foul, substitute technical foul, team technical foul, administrative technical foul, bench technical foul, right? We need to understand, and if we start with that in mind, then we can say, okay, I know the attributes of this thing. So if we have a player technical foul goes on the player, right? If that, remember who qualifies as a player? It's one of the 5 team members participating in the game. Those 5 are considered to be players. During timeouts, those players continue to maintain their player status. During intermissions, they do not. They become bench personnel. So understanding the status of individuals on a team is critical to our success. If we understand they're a player and we have a technical foul on them, that is a player technical that is exclusively on the player, right? A head coach only would receive an indirect. A head coach is responsible for the behavior of bench personnel. If the head coach if the person who received the technical foul was bench personnel by rule, then we would assess not only a technical foul on that individual, but an indirect on a head coach as well. So on this question, the correct answer is B, the player. A player technical foul is charged to a player exclusively. Okay. Here at Basketball Rules Expert and a Better Official, we really try to create rules understanding that's based in fundamental and concepts, as opposed to, okay, rule, X-X-X says this. Learn that thing, right? Learn that verbatim, right? It's hard to take all the verbatim rules with us onto the court, but if we have an understanding of concepts and fundamentals, then we're more empowered to rule things successfully on the court. But let's recognize what a player is in the game of basketball. A player is one of the 5 who are participating in the game. We often refer to people or, team members who are on the bench or bench personnel by rule as players. It's a reflex, right? I see the player, they come in the game, they are playing basketball, number 5, black, right? He's a player. And then 5 goes to the bench, and we still keep that. But by rule, a player is one of the players who's participating. If we keep that understanding in mind, and that when they, so we've talked about the cycle. We have, let's say, a team member on the bench. They are not one of the starters. They are a team member. They are on the bench. The coach, the game is going on. The coach sends them to the table. They go to the table and say, hey, I'm checking in to the scorekeeper. They are now a potential substitute, right? Their status has changed slightly. If they do something that as a substitute technical, that rises to a substitute technical, they are considered in a different category. But we beckon them into the game, and now they are a player. So they've gone from team member to substitute to player. They're playing the game. We call a foul, all the things. Ultimately, they are replaced by another substitute and go to the bench, and now their status has changed to bench personnel. Or let's say the coach calls a timeout, right? Now has their status changed as they're going to the bench? No, they're still a player by rule. And understanding the status of each player is critical. And I will tell you, to all of the young officials who are watching this, understanding status, the status of the ball, the status of the players, all of the things of team control, not team control. If you spend time understanding status, you are way ahead of understanding the rules of high school basketball. And so every time a status situation comes up, live ball, dead ball, team control, no team control, the status of a player, etc., dominate that stuff and you will be way ahead of the game. All right. And this is also a great example of how we roll here at Basketball Rules Expert, right? This is a simple question, right? But we can get into other concepts and ideas and things that if we own when we enter the basketball court, we are stronger as basketball officials. Okay, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, let's take a look at our very next question. On a sideline throw-in, A1 attempts to throw a lob to A2 for a dunk. As A2 leaves the floor, the ball is thrown by A1, goes untouched directly through the basket. How would we administer that play? So I will say, when we are confronted with a test question, right, we're taking a test question, there's going to be multiple answers, right? If we can just say, I know the answer to this, then we're in great shape. Sometimes let me see what the selection is, right? So let's take a look at the selection on this play. Any live ball that passes through the basket is awarded points. This is 2 points for Team A. Well, that sounds logical, maybe. This is a violation, and Team B is entitled to a throw-in at the original throw-in spot. C, you can't score points on a throw-in. The ball is not considered a goal, and it is still a live ball. Either team can recover it. Or D, this is a violation, and Team B is entitled to a throw-in on the end line outside the lane area. I like the answers here. They're very creative. I hadn't even thought of a couple of them. But all of these can sort of make sense, except if we know what's illegal, right? If we're concentrating about what's illegal, we know when a throw-in occurs, and like we like to say here, is on a throw-in situation, a wide spectrum of things can occur, right? It's hard to quantify exactly how many unique things can occur during a throw-in. And what we have to do as officials is say, okay, I'm ready to take in all of this information. I haven't seen that before. It's unusual, but what's illegal? If I know what's illegal on a designated spot throw-in, I know that player has to keep 1 foot above that throw-in spot, which is not actually a spot. It's actually an area that's 3 feet wide and extends back an unlimited amount. They're not allowed to step onto something to gain an advantage, like step onto the stands and get extra height. I know that they must release the throw-in within 5 seconds. And I know that they may not be the first to touch it. I know all the things, right? I know all the restrictions. And something in the game happens, and it's like, have we met one of those restrictions? If we have, then we have a violation. If we haven't, then we just have something that's unusual, and I've never seen it before. Now, obviously, we've had this play where the throw-in goes into the basket. The officials are immediately... I don't know. They're like kind of stunned for a moment. It's just like I haven't seen that ever in a game that I've done. But what do I know? What do I know? That is illegal by rule. That it is what? A throw-in violation. How do we resume after a throw-in violation? Right? If we quantify, I know that's a violation. I know that it's a throw-in violation, and I know how to resume the game after a throw-in violation. Then we're in a really strong position. And again, here at a Basketball Rules Expert, we like to break it down to that simplified level because that we can take that with us onto the basketball court. So in this instance, this is a throw-in violation by rule, right? So we've narrowed things down. A does not apply, and C does not apply. We are not scoring a goal here. But how are we going to resume, right? It's sort of logical that, well, the violation occurred when the ball went in the basket, so the violation is near that spot, and so the end line throw-in. We can logically think that if we don't know the fundamental that a throw-in violation, the penalty for a throw-in violation is the ball to the other team at the original spot of the throw-in. We have the situation where the team must be the first to touch the ball on the court. We have a player at one end line, throws a football pass down to the other end, but throws it too far. It goes out of bounds at the other end. Logically, we think, okay, where it went out of bounds, right? But if we recognize that it's a throw-in violation is always the ball to the other team at the original spot of the throw-in. So in this instance, our correct answer would be B. This is a violation, and Team B is entitled to a throw-in at the original throw-in spot. All right, let's look at our next question. During warm-ups, the crew notices that 2 Team A players are wearing illegal colored headbands and one has the wrong colored undershirt. The officiating crew should A, oh my goodness, that's a lot of words. Address the uniform violation immediately. Neither of Team A players in violation shall be permitted until they come into compliance with the apparel requirement. B, issue a player technical on both of these players and send them to the bench to correct their illegal colored apparel. They have forfeited the opportunity to continue to warm up prior to the game. Or C, issue a direct technical on the coach for allowing the players to warm up without being properly and legally equipped. That's a lot of words, right? So what I notice in looking at these test questions is sometimes a question is like, okay, the question itself has a lot of words, and each of the answers has a lot of words. These can really bog us down. We like the simple questions like the last one, where it's just like a short question, there may be a couple answers. Okay, so what do we have on this situation? We have a warm-up, and we have players who are not in compliance with rules. Okay, so if we understand that, see, again, I have used the word players, which is a habitual thing to do when we refer to the team members in this situation, right? Prior to the game, these individuals who are team members are considered to be bench personnel by rule. If they, obviously, if there's a pregame dunk, they are considered bench personnel. The penalty reflects that. So we have a situation that prior to the game, I'm going to go back there. Illegal colored headbands and a wrong colored undershirt, right? These things would prevent a team member from entering the game and participating. They are illegally equipped in terms of participating. Yeah, and this is an interesting situation in that. So we have players, team members who are not in compliance. If team members are wearing, let's say, earbuds, they are warming up. They have some their phone in their warm-up pants, and they are listening to music. National Federation of High School Basketball rules, that player needs to become into compliance immediately. If team members are wearing jewelry, they must come into compliance as well. So what this question points out is that, I guess, by rule, those players who are wearing the things that would prevent them from playing, even though they're not safety issues, such as headphones or jewelry would be, those players must be directed to go correct their situation before they can continue their warm-ups. So our correct answer here, a bit punitive, but our correct answer is A, address the uniform violation immediately. Neither of the Team A players in violation shall be permitted to participate until they come into compliance with the apparel requirement. Now, on a practical note, we want to address every issue pregame that we possibly can. If we notice that undershirts are not correct, we want to get those early. If we notice that we've got black leg sleeves, white arm sleeves, and red headbands, okay, we got some work to do in terms of getting this team in compliance. So our correct answer is very strict and punitive, right? In a practical sense, it's going to take some time to do these things, and we're going to want to correct them. We may have to get the head coach involved. Let's remember, in National Federation of High School, team members are not allowed to remove their jersey in the visual confines. So if we had illegal undershirts, we're going to need to potentially bring the coach in and say, Coach, here's the situation. Now, in order to correct this situation, I need your team members to leave the visual confines. If they could go to the locker room, make the correction before they return, that would be great. We could prevent that problem from occurring where, we've directed the player to fix it and they say, okay, great. And they just that puts us in a spot. This is, usually this is something that's going to take some time, and it's not going to be a punitive in practical terms where we're going to say, all right, hey, illegal headband, you have to go to the bench and take that headband off, right? Usually we're going to handle it a little more subtly. Illegal equipment leads a player to be in a position where they cannot participate until the situation is corrected. So a player has earrings up. We didn't notice, they're real small, but then we see the sparkle and it's like, hey, coach, I need a replacement player. And it's just like, well, I just got him, ref. I can't take him out. Well, that's fantastic. I'm not telling you have to take him out, right? Coach, the player doesn't have to take them out, but they cannot participate wearing jewelry. It's as simple as that. So the ball's in your court, as it were. Let's look now at our next question. Team A is in bonus. A1 has the ball for a throw-in. A1 moves the ball and his or her arms over the plane to where both the ball and arms are over the inbounds area. B1 contacts A1's arms. A, the official warns B1 and gives Team A the ball for another throw-in. B, the official calls an intentional foul and awards 2 free throws to A1, followed by a Team A throw-in from the spot nearest the foul. C, the official calls a common foul and awards A1 bonus free throws. Or D, the official calls a technical foul and awards 2 free throws to Team A. Team A is then awarded a throw-in from the division line. Okay. So, again, this is one of those very unique situations that can possibly occur on the court during a throw-in. Now, throw-ins occur in the game of basketball infrequently, frequently. They occur a lot, and understanding rules and restrictions regarding throw-ins is a super valuable thing for young officials, new officials, all officials to concentrate on. Things that happen a lot in our game. I like to say, right, we have 3 restarts in the game of basketball. We have a jump ball, we have free throws, and we have throw-ins. Which one happens the most? Throw-ins. There's rules and restrictions. For each of those restarts, there's a special set of rules and restrictions we're going to bring in, and we are going to, apply those rules and restrictions only during the restart, right? So which one happens the most? Throw-ins. I'm going to learn the rules and restrictions on throw-ins. I'm going to learn how to administer throw-ins. As a new official, bang for the buck. This is really good. Free throws, right? Those happen a lot, especially at lower level games. Hopefully they don't happen a lot in your game, but they do happen frequently. And then a jump ball, right? That's my lowest priority. Why? I do need to answer test questions, but in the big picture, it happens much less often than the other two. So that just gives us a little priority. In terms of learning rules and restrictions, how we should go about it. It's just like different rules have different gravity, right? We have rule number 1, which is all about the court and dimensions of lines and things like this. This isn't really a big factor, rule 1, in how we're going to call the game. our understanding of Rule 1 is important sometimes to answer test questions. But once we enter the venue, Rule number 1 becomes just about the lowest priority. Rule number 4, definitions, the most important rule for new basketball officials, is where we get started with a real understanding of the rules. And then Rule 9, Rule 10. These are the things that if we focus on, we get most bang for our buck. Tremendous. All right. So let's look at our possible answers here. So we know that it is illegal by rule for a defender to contact the thrower during a throw-in, right? Trying to knock the ball out of their hand, rakes them across the arm. What kind of foul is it? Is it a common foul like it suggests here? No, it's an intentional foul by rule. Let's also recognize in this scenario, this is where a player, a throw-in, has the ball for a throw-in and extends the ball through the boundary plane. Through the boundary plane. See, if I use my hand over here, it doesn't get cut off. That's very exciting. Right? Which is a very unique situation, and the rules are kind of fudged in around it because it is so unique. But contacting the thrower is illegal by rule. It's an intentional foul by rule. We know the penalty for an intentional foul. Always 2 free throws for the offended player or their eligible substitute, and a throw-in at the original spot, with one exception. If it was an intentional foul during a 3-point try and the 3-point try missed, was not successful, then we would award 3 free throws and the ball at the spot of the foul for the offended player or their eligible substitute should they be injured. We can definitely take that with us onto the basketball court. That's the correct answer here. B, the official calls an intentional foul and awards 2 free throws to A1, followed by a Team A throw-in from the spot nearest the foul. Now, it wouldn't happen in this instance where an intentional foul, where we're contacting a thrower. The chances of them being injured are extremely unlikely. But if they were, then they're eligible substitute. And we're going to go to another question. On a throw-in, Team A maintains team control until any Team B player gains control of the ball or the ball becomes dead. B, an opponent of the throw-in team touches the throw-in pass. C, player control is obtained inbounds by a player of either team. D, the release of the throw-in, because at that point the ball is no longer at the disposal of the thrower. Team control on a throw-in has been a point of emphasis in recent years, and there is much confusion about the fact that team control exists during a throw-in. And it's an important thing to understand, again, as a new official, as an official, throw-ins happen a lot. And so knowing rules and restrictions regarding throw-ins and the events surrounding throw-ins is excellent bang for our buck in terms of understanding the rules of high school basketball. So on a throw-in, Team A maintains team control until. Okay, so not so long ago, let's say a decade ago, there was no team control during a throw-in. And so if a foul occurred by the throwing team, let's say a bad screen, and the other team was in bonus, it would result in bonus free throws. NFHS says, you know what? At other levels, they do this differently. Let's, in order to speed up the game, facilitate a smoother game, let's award team control during a throw-in for the administration of fouls, so that if that situation occurred, we would have, let's just give the ball to the other team, keep the game going. So NFHS says, all right, team control during a throw-in. This led to a lot of confusion regarding things like backcourt violations during a throw-in, etc. And so issues have occurred. But this one is really just a fundamental concept. So here's what we need to understand. That during a throw-in, the team that has the ball at their disposal has team control by rule for the administration of fouls. Simple. For the administration of fouls, not for 3 seconds, backcourt, all of these things. In order to have those things, we have to have team control onto the court. Team control on the court is established by player control on the court. But for the administration of fouls, we have team control. So our question, possible answers, any team beer, well, so if a team if a team B player gained control of the ball or the ball became dead, would team A have team control? No, they would not. So that is a correct answer. And an opponent of the throw-in team touches the throw-in pass. And this is where a lot of, I know the throw-in has ended by rule, right? The throw-in ends on a legal touch, fundamental concept we can take with us onto the court. We have throw-ins, rules and restrictions. They apply during a throw-in. When does the throw-in start? When the ball is at the disposal of the thrower. We have to know what that means. When does the throw-in end? Throw-in ends when the ball is legally touched or the ball becomes dead, right? That applies to rules and restrictions of throw-ins. But our situation here is team control. That ball being the defender touching the ball does not end the team control. Let's say the ball is bouncing onto the court. 2 players are pursuing it. One of the players from the throw-in team, in an effort to get the ball, displaces their defensive opponent and collects the ball. We have a foul. What kind of foul is it? It is a team control foul by rule, because team control was given to the throwing team when the ball was placed at their disposal for the throw-in. And it would not end until any Team B player gains control of the ball or the ball becomes dead. So if we have a loose ball situation, the ball is tipped, it's on the floor, it's batted, right, in a couple of directions until the opponent gains team control by establishing player control, or until the ball becomes dead, team control would still exist for the throwing team. All right, let's move on to another question. A team control foul is A, an intentional foul, B, a flagrant foul, C, a technical foul. I think I know what the answer is going to be to this one. Or D, a common foul. Okay, now let's look at the pantheon of questions. This is the question we like to have. A simple statement, 4 possible answers, and they're all really short. There's not a lot of words. Whew, okay. A team control foul is a common foul committed by a player in the team in control. If the team is in control, a team member can commit an intentional foul, excessive contact on a bad screen or a displacement of an opponent. An offensive player, the team in control, we often refer to them as offense, defense. An offensive player can commit a foul that is any of these four. But in order for it to be a team control foul, it cannot be an intentional foul, flagrant foul, or technical foul. Those are not, players dribbling the ball, a defender reroutes them. The ball handler's like, ref, you suck. That's a foul, right? We can assess a technical foul. It is not a team control foul by rule. If that same player wards off the defender with an arm, displaces them to get open, right? We have a team. Oh, that would be a player control. Sorry. We have a bad screen set by a teammate. That would be a team control foul. That's a common foul. And we know the penalty for a team control foul is the ball to the opponent at the spot nearest the foul. What's the penalty for an intentional foul? 2 free throws for the offended player, ball at the spot of the foul to that team. A flagrant foul, disqualification of the offender, 2 free throws for the offended player and the ball at the spot nearest the foul. A technical foul, the penalty is 2 free throws, any player or eligible substitute, and the ball for a division line throw-in opposite the table. And the penalty for a team control foul would be a ball to the opponent at the spot nearest the foul. So we have different intentional and flagrant, very similar, except one disqualifies a player. Very different administration for the others. Let's look at our next one. During A1's throw-in, defender B2, in a purposeful attempt to obstruct A2's vision, is waving his hand in front of A2's face. Which is correct? Right? So, as basketball officials, we get to this, we should have the answer right here, like right now. Okay? That's our objective. We know the proper adjudication of this play by rule. But let's say we're unsure. Let's take a look at our possible scenarios. A tactical foul should be issued to B2. By rule, no warning is required. B, this is a legal play since A2 has the unhindered ability to move in order to see his teammates better. C, an official should issue a delay of game warning on B2 or a team technical if any other delay of game warning had previously been issued to team B. Or D, this merits a warning to B2 if an official sees it and can stop the play with a whistle before the release of the throw-in. Okay, let's parse through this stuff. So during a throw-in, defender B2 is purposely, so this is not a thrower situation. This is not in the face of a thrower. This is in the face of a player on the court. So defender and right, waving a hand in the face of the opponent. Right? This is a very right. So we see training of players to put a hand up like on a shooter. But NFHS says, look, we don't want players being able to put their hand within the vicinity of the face. By rule, we have added language that makes this a technical foul by rule. I believe it probably rose to that. It maybe used to be a violation to handle things with a warning and, hey, don't do that. But the objective here is to prevent a situation where, dangerous things can occur, such as a poke in the eye, a slap in the face. Sounds like a song lyric. This is a technical foul by rule. No previous warning shall be required, right? It is a player technical foul. It is listed in the rules for player technical foul to wave a hand in proximity of an opponent's face, right? The objective here is for safety, to keep, if we allow that to occur, what is going to be the inevitable result is going to be contact to the opponent's face, leads to problems. So technical foul is the correct answer, A. B, legal play, since they have the unhindered ability to move in, and in order to see, I've put the hand in the face. Well, they can move, right? I guess that's a contention that could be made. But NFHS says, no, we don't want the hand near the face. And then we're going to make that illegal, and we're going to make that punitive. We really don't want that occurring in the game. An official should issue a delay of game warning on B2 or a team technical if there's already been well, wait a minute. Is this one of the 5 things that we can issue a formal delay of game warning? Or if a formal delay of game warning had already been issued, assess a team technical foul? No, those things are defined by rule. And this is not one of the 5. And D, let's see. D represents a practical approach. Okay, so we have, let's say bottom line, this occurs in our game, and we've got a player who's waving their hand around the face of an opponent, and maybe we often see that reaction by the opponent. Either the opponent swats their hand down or acts annoyed, right? We're officiating the game, and these things occur in our game. Official could stop play and issue and tell the player, knock it off. That is illegal by rule. We're not going to have that in our game tonight. Is that a practical approach to the game? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, maybe the waving of the hand didn't rise to the level of what you would consider to be a technical foul. Let's say it wasn't right in front of the face. It was more like, they were just trying to obstruct the vision, etc. Practically, many officials are going to tell the player to knock it off and assess a warning, a practical warning, not a delay of game warning, which would not apply, but an actual warning. Hey, knock it off. We're not having that tonight. Don't do that. Hey, coach, players cannot wave. That's a very practical way to approach the situation. But by rule, if this rises to the level of a technical foul, it is a player technical foul by rule. By rule. Let's look at the next one. After the 10-minute mark of the pregame, the coach from Team A requests to change 4 players' numbers in the official scorebook. A, only 1 administrative technical is charged. B, free throws will be administered for all 4 number corrections. Or C, the head coach is charged with an indirect technical foul. Boom. That's simple, right? After the 10-minute mark, the coach needs to change the scorebook for multiple players. What is the penalty in this instance? This is a technical foul by rule. What kind of technical foul is it? This is an administrative technical foul by rule. What is the penalty for an administrative technical foul? For this clause in the administrative technical foul, the penalty is a technical foul. It's assessed to the team, 2 free throws for the opponent, ball for a division line throw-in opposite the table, 1 foul towards the team foul count towards bonus. But it does not, the penalty is assessed for this violation, and a maximum of 2 free throws for this will be awarded. So the team needed to change multiple players, but only 2 free throws are awarded, whether it's 1 player needs to be changed, 2, 3, 4, 5, or all team members need to be changed. Just 1 for an administrative technical foul. So in this instance, our correct answer is A, only 1 administrative technical is charged. All right, I'm going to accelerate the pace here. Let's go. B1 reaches across the boundary and slaps the ball being held by A1 during a throw-in. This results in a throw-in plane violation warning against Team B entered in the scorebook and a team technical against Team B. B, a player technical, then disqualification of B1 if he does the same thing a second time. C, a verbal warning issued by administering official with a player technical issued if the player does the same thing again. Or D, the referee blowing the whistle to stop play, then beckoning the thrower up farther off the line. So this does not happen again. I like that. Okay. So B1 reaches across or through the boundary plane and slaps the ball being held by A1 during a throw-in. So our defender during a throw-in has violated the throw-in plane and contacted the basketball. What is the penalty for that action? This is a player technical foul by rule for that action. In addition, it carries with us, if they have not already been given one, a delay of game warning for violating the throw-in plane. They did 2 things simultaneously. In this action, the more egregious is penalized. We can get back to that in just a second. But the correct answer here is a player technical foul. Contacting the basketball by reaching through the plane. Now, earlier we had a play where the ball was extended over through the boundary plane by the thrower, and then if that player, then the defender contacted the ball, that is legal by rule. Again, this is the fudge factor when it comes to extending the ball through the plane. Not only can they contact the ball, dislodge the ball, they can also hold the ball. Right? But in this case, we don't have that. We have the defender reaching through the boundary plane. This would result in contacting the basketball, player technical foul by rule. Now let's look at a throw-in plane violation warning. That is good, but in a team technical foul against Team B. Again, we need to know what kind of technical foul is it. In this instance, player technical foul by rule. Straightforward. Situations where we may have a player, like before we make the ball live, where they have a hand through the boundary plane. And we can warn the player, hey, back, I need you can't reach through, right? I need your hands back. I like to say, keep your hands over the court. For players who are near the boundary plane, sometimes when they're at an angle, one of their hands just naturally extends through the boundary plane, even though it may not be very close to the thrower. And there are certainly proactive things we can do in that situation. But when we have a situation where a defender, once the ball is live, contacts the basketball, that is a player technical foul by rule. Take a look at another question. A1 is preparing to shoot a free throw. When would an official not be correct to grant a timeout request by Coach B? Wait. Oh, where's my sounds? I don't have them available. Where's my screech? So, A1 is preparing to shoot a free throw. When would an official not be correct to grant a timeout request by the opponent of A1? Right? What do we know about the ability to request a timeout? During, right? This is where we'd start on this, even before we get to the possible scenarios. This is where we start. Who can request a timeout when? In high school basketball, right? There are 12 possible answers. We have players on either team, 5 players from Team A, 5 players from Team B, head coach from Team A, head coach from Team B. These are our possible requesters of a timeout. When can these individuals request a timeout? When the ball is dead, any of them can request a timeout. When the ball is live, only the players and the head coach for the team who was in control of the ball could request a timeout and be granted one by rule. So, if we go back to our question, let's start there. When would an official not be correct to grant a timeout by Coach B? If the ball was live and they did not have control, then it would be not correct. Does that make sense? So A1 is preparing to shoot a free throw. Let's take a look at our possible answers. While A1 is holding the ball but has not yet begun a free throw attempt. B, after the official has released the ball on the bounce pass to A1, but the ball has not yet been caught by A1. C, after the ball is bounced to A1, but A1 muffs the pass and the ball is rolling away from the player. Or D, while the administering official is still holding the ball, signaling how many free throws are to be attempted. So, earlier we talked about status and understanding status. During one of those things that occurs frequently, those restarts that occur, throw in, free throw. During a free throw, when does the ball become live? That's the critical component here. If the ball has become live and the opponent has the ball, that coach, those players for the opponent cannot request a timeout. So when does the ball become live on a free throw? That's what we're talking about when we're talking about status and understanding status. Live ball, dead ball. Critical to understand. So when does the ball become live on a free throw or a throw-in? When the ball is at the disposal of the thrower. What's the definition of disposal of the thrower? When they are holding the basketball, when it's handed to them and they are holding it, when it is bounced to them and they are holding it. Or in some unique situations when the ball is placed at their disposal in their absence. Very unique. But in this situation, let's take a look. I'm going to go there. If A1 is holding the ball and they have not begun their attempt, the ball is live. An opponent may not request and be granted a timeout by rule. So A is going to be our correct answer. In B, after the official has released the throw-in pass, but it's not quite to A1, have they caught the ball on a ball that was bounced from an official? No. So is the ball live at that moment in time where the ball is traveling towards the thrower? No. I've had that situation. The ball was in midair. Timeout. Legal by rule. After the ball is bounced to A1, but A1 muffs the pass and the ball is rolling away from the player again. Has the ball become live in that instance? Have they caught a ball that was bounced from the official? No, the ball's not live. And obviously when the ball administering official is still holding the ball is not live. So it's just a great scenario to focus, and I cannot stress it enough for young officials. Status, understanding status, live ball, dead ball, back court, front court, inbounds, out of bounds, team control, no team control. These things are the critical things that are going to come into play when we have to make decisions on the court or adjudicate plays properly. And it points us back to Rule 4, the most important rule in the rules book, understanding the definition of live ball, dead ball. So, critical. Next. A1 is holding the ball but losing her balance. Which of the following results in a violation? A1 touches the floor with one hand while holding the ball with the other. Is that a violation? B1 touches the floor with her knee. Is that a violation? C, A1 touches a teammate A2's arm while A2's one foot is partially out of bounds. Excellent. Or D, A1 touches the floor with the ball which she is holding. Which of those is illegal by rule? A player holding the basketball may legally touch the floor with their feet or their hands. Any additional body part contacts the floor, it is a violation by rule. It is a traveling violation by rule. So in B, if they touch the floor with their knee, that would be a violation. In C, let's say they're losing their balance and they reach out and touch a teammate to regain their balance. That can't be legal. Come on now. Again, this reinforces the point. We will see a myriad of things on the court, and our brain says, whoa, is that legal? Is that illegal? Right? If we know what is illegal, then we are armed to say, that is crazy, unique. I've never seen that before. I understand why you say that, coach. That's not illegal. That is legal by rule. Own that phrase as well. Legal by rule. You could borrow the inflection as well. Oh. Or D, touches the floor with the ball which she is holding. Okay, wait a minute. Come on, that's got to be something, ref. You can't do that, can you, ref? What have they violated? It is not a violation to do that. Of these instances, there is one clear violation. A1 cannot touch a body part other than their hands or their feet to the floor while they are holding the basketball. That's the violation. That causes our violation bell to go off. All of these things would be, if we just imagine the scenario, all of these things would be unique. It's and would get our brain processing, right? That's not unusual. Wow. What do we expect in all those instances? Energy in the building. Energy saying, come on, ref, that's a travel, right? If this is the content that you find valuable as a basketball official, now would be a great time to do all the things. Hit the like, the subscribe, and the notify so you don't miss out on any of our new content. We live stream every Wednesday and Friday, and in addition, we have exciting new programming coming. If you missed out on our presentation by Scott Bach-Hansen the other day on how a new official can improve, you can find a link above and in the show notes below. Much appreciated for Scott joining us, and jump into notifications so you don't miss out on any of our new content. Love to thank our fantastic show supporters: Sue Mahackian, Bart Henkle, Thomas Anticola, Mark Skolnick, and Bill Damico. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show, you can always head to betterofficial.com/coffee. There will be a link above and in the show notes below. Additional video content for you here, including things we've referenced in this video. You can find that here. Make your choice, choose wisely, and we'll see you in the very next one. Take care.